right?
Well, that's a great question. Is what dirt do they still have on her?
Yeah, and you know,
I just thought I'd point that out, that none of the news reporting seems to have seized on that and investigated a little further.
Yeah, that's a good point, Will, but what we do know about what was in her emails has all been leaked by WikiLeaks. I mean, there have been State Department reveals, but obviously that's been trickling out.
I don't know that we have. We've seen Podesta's emails, and we saw some other DNC emails. We haven't seen the Hillary emails yet, have we? Who's got them, and when are they going to be let loose? That's the question.
Yep.
Yeah, good point, Will. Excellent point. Anything else?
No, thanks.
All right, thanks for the call, Will. Appreciate it. Yeah, that's a great point. You know, I expected that last week before the election that WikiLeaks was going to say, all right, you've seen Podesta's stuff. Now here's Hillary's stuff, and just bombard us in that last week. And they never did.
Well, didn't they imply they were going to? I thought
everything I saw, I was expecting a great big bomb to drop, and it never did. And I don't understand that. You know, were they waiting to use it afterward when she won?
Well, that's what your news report here said.
Yeah, so very strange. Derek, let's go to track 2. And I think this is kind of related to the first one. We just got off track a little bit. Go ahead and play that.
Those sources, but reading the unclassified report, you've got to take a lot on faith, I have to say, because there really is no data that's declassified or sourced beyond a lot of reporting about the Russian-backed TV network RT, but this hardly seems like strong intelligence for someone who is looking at these conclusions.
Yeah. So that's, again, Catherine Herridge, and she's saying, listen, I've seen this a lot, and these are very strong conclusions. They're putting it out there. This is the conclusion. It's Class A plus material. This is their confidence level, extremely high. And yet even she's mystified, and all the time that she's been, that they didn't declassify anything, right? They didn't declassify anything. Now, allegedly, if these DNC, the Podesta emails came through a phishing scam, that's how, because his password was password, right? Anybody could have gotten that, not necessarily just the Russians, but anybody could have gotten that one. And I still believe that the DNC email leak came from Seth Rich, who was murdered in Washington, D.C. There was no robbery in that. Somebody gunned him down late at night, walking home from wherever he was. And that, for me, says that's not necessarily Russia. That could be somebody else, including people in the DNC, because there's a Podesta email, as I recall, that goes back and says, you know, we're going to make an example of somebody who's leaking, because they knew there was something going on with it as far as a leak, right? Derek, we got track 3. And, again, this is Catherine Herridge talking about how this last intel briefing goes down and the timing of it.
Reading the unclassified report, you've got to take a lot on faith, I have to say, because there really is no data that's declassified or sourced beyond a lot of reporting about the Russian-backed TV network RT, but this hardly seems like strong intelligence for someone who is looking at these conclusions.
No, that was the same one as the last one. I thought we had a different one in there. Anyway, she goes on to say that in all her years, she has never seen a dump like this with an incoming administration, the outgoing administration. Again, it's just odd. I mean, if the idea is to keep America at its best and strongest, why is the outgoing administration doing its best to make it difficult for the incoming administration? Bush did not do this to Obama. Clinton didn't do it to Bush. Well, they did. They took the W's off the keyboard and stuff. But anyway,
the furniture.
But it wasn't anything of as high a nature as this. I mean, it's just incredible, right?
I've always looked at Obama as a spoiled, petulant child, and these are the behaviors of a spoiled, petulant child.
Yeah,
that's a sore loser. I mean, he knows he didn't lose the election, but he himself said that this was an election based on his, legacy.
Right.
This is all about his legacy.
Yeah, his legacy is going down. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. What's left, his one lasting part of his legacy, I feel, and I kind of thought about this on the way in today, is the damage he's done to his own party. That's going to be a lasting legacy.
Yeah, that, and actually in the military, the homosexual issue in the military, that's another part of his lasting legacy. And quite frankly, there's a lot of difficulty right now in the military. There's a lot of people who are serving, who are homosexual, who are very much afraid of the Trump administration right now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens. Donald Trump doesn't strike me as somebody who's vindictive against homosexuals or anything else.
No.
I think he wants to see the military succeed, and whatever it takes for them to succeed, those are the policies he'll probably put in place. He's going to ask the Pentagon to do what they think they need to do.
But it's been what he's done has been disruptive. Yeah. That's the problem.
Well, let's go back for a minute to the about influencing elections, because you know what? Every country on the planet, I think, is trying to influence other countries' elections to their favor, whether it's by Saudi Arabia paying money to the Clinton Foundation and to Hillary Clinton's campaign, or whether it's Iran or North Korea trying to dig for the same intel that we're accusing Russia of getting, or China doing this.
Or now, Obama paying off taking taxpayers' money and trying to defeat Bibi Netanyahu.
Yes, and that's the glass houses. And luckily they broached that in that intel hearing on Capitol Hill with McCain and Graham and the whole 9 yards, right? And so it strikes me, though, that the way the media picks up on it, like it's a giant collusion between Russia and Trump. And it's not. If Russia was trying to influence the election, that's what they do. That's what we did in Ukraine. You don't think we try to do that to Russia or England or France or Germany? We're always pushing to get some kind of an influence on another country so that it's best for us. That's just normal procedure, right?
Yeah, well, part of the take is that a lot of people feel that Clinton, for whatever reason, would have been playing hardball and would have gotten us into World War III. I don't know where they get that, but I saw a lot of that. Well, of that opinion. Okay,
oddly enough, this morning on Twitter, right? 6,000 tanks on the Russian border right now. NATO tanks. What is with the buildup? And 300,000 troops all of a sudden doing some kind of a war games. Why, in the transition of the superpower on the planet, are we doing a war game on a border with a country that we're accusing of trying to influence our election through covert operations?
Well, once again, I think Obama would love to see some kind of military
to keep
event
to
keep himself in power.
Yeah, declare martial law and try and stay in power for some crazy reason or another. I would hope.
Go ahead, say it again, because I want.
I hope that the militaries of our planet, the U.S. military, the Pentagon, the Kremlin, I hope everybody has enough brains to, if there's a mistake, somebody crosses a border, somebody shoots down a plane, cooler heads prevail. Well, and let's get this guy out of office so the adults can take control of the planet again.
We've seen that with Putin already, with his response to the ejection of 35 of his people from our country. They didn't do the tit for tat. He said, I can wait. I can be the adult here.
Yeah, and let's not...
I'm not idolizing
I'm not fooling
Putin.
myself. I know Vladimir Putin is an ex-KGB, dirty, rotten SOB, toughest, meanest, backstabbingest guy on the planet. He's doing what's best for him, number one, and his country, number two, because weren't you and I talking the other day about he's probably one of the richest guys on the planet because he sucks all the resources from Russia
Takes
to
his
itself,
kickback,
right? Oh, yeah. So no ifs, ands, or buts about it. And follow the money. I'm sure it works for him. That being said, people that believe in the almighty dollar or ruble or whatever, at least you know where they're coming from, right?
This actually goes back to the point about Trump and Putin, if it came down to that, and Hillary. If she was more warlike and was more, let's just say, more confrontational, it would cause a buildup along that border, like Obama's doing right now. However, if Trump is not confrontational and he says, we can work, we can do deals where possible, we can keep things calm, then actually Putin's looking at, he doesn't have to spend so much money on his military, which he is already, but it doesn't bust his budget like Reagan busted, the budget of the Communist Empire and caused them to, when Reagan escalated with Star Wars and the like, basically he crushed the Russian Empire, Soviet Empire, because they knew they couldn't keep up, so they folded. Putin doesn't want to play that game, so Putin wants somebody he can deal with. So if he's trying to, influence our election to get Trump, it's probably not for some nefarious thing. It's just to keep peace in the world, maybe. Or
to line his own pockets. Either way, I'd rather deal with somebody who could line their own pockets than somebody who wants to die and have 72 virgins. All right, well, we'll see you guys on the other side of the break.
People are always on the go, driving to work, running errands. How do they keep informed? They listen to Wham Talk 1600 just like you. If you're a business owner, your message can reach these people wherever their travels take them. People tune to Wham Radio for the latest issues, discussed by hosts like Joe Pags, Fayron X, and Dana Lesh. And they'll stay tuned for your message as well. Call 734-971-1600 today and advertise your business with Wham Radio and whamradio.com. Whamradio.com.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. The brother of the Florida airport shooting suspect questioning why Esteban Santiago was allowed to keep his gun after U.S. authorities knew he'd become increasingly paranoid and was hearing voices.
Charges could be announced this afternoon. Santiago is accused of flying from Alaska to Fort Lauderdale with a plan, pack his 9mm handgun in his luggage, check that luggage, fly, and then upon arrival, walk to baggage claim, get his gun, and load it, and start shooting.
Fox's Phil Keating, 6 people hospitalized, 5 people killed.
Including Terry Andres, 62 years old, from Virginia Beach, traveling with his wife of 40 years, prepared to go on a cruise.
Fox's Steve Harrigan, the president-elect renewing his call for warmer relations with Russia a day after a declassified report on Russian efforts to influence the U.S. presidential election. Fox News, we report, you decide.
It's time for This American Voice with Theron, brought to you by A&H Lawn Service. Now here's Theron.
The progressive left will do anything to delegitimize Donald Trump's presidency. The George Soros, John Podesta-funded and driven Jill Stein vote recount was the first shot at Trump. The fake news election hacking by the Russians is another example of the progressive desperate grasp at straws to ruin Trump's rightful win over Hillary Clinton. Trump killed it. They will never be good with that. And by the way, the Russian hacking thing is not about actual vote machine totals, hacking into actual machines and driving up totals for Trump. It's about the left being exposed for what they truly are, via Hillary, Podesta, and Obama's email being laid out for all to see. And I'd suspect the intelligence community before I'd suspect the Russians on that. For the past 8 years, the FBI has been told, don't do your job. They've been told to stand by and do nothing, knowing Hillary is guilty of serious national security breaches. But the bottom line is we, the thinking, saw Hillary and the left for what they are. And given that, we voted for Trump. The legacy of Hussein Obama and the left will be ashes, rightfully so. 2016 will go down as the most legitimate election year in American history.
A&H Lawn Service in Saline serves all of Southeast Michigan. They've been offering professional lawn maintenance since 1991, including landscape construction, lawn and landscape maintenance, irrigation systems, winterizing, and snow removal. Let A&H Lawn Service help your business with landscaping solutions for today and tomorrow. They have the professional experience you can count on. Call 734-429-5778 and see how their business can help your business, or visit ahlawn.care.com.
It's 2017. If you're thinking about investing in your house, now's the time. Check out woodrehab.com or call 248-506-6175. Use this year's tax refund to spruce up your house. And what better way than upgrading your tired kitchen cabinets? Wood Rehab can give your kitchen cabinets a new look at a great price. Don't replace them. You can paint or refinish without emptying your cabinets in this very non-intrusive process, which averages 7 days from start to finish. Call 248-506-6175. Ask for Dave. Woodrehab.com will give you 10% off if you mention this ad. 2017 is a great year. Get it started with a brand new kitchen. Call 248-506-6175 or go to the web at woodrehab.com and get your kitchen renovation started today.
It's been 5 years since we met Kelly Brighton, just before her weight loss surgery.
I was almost 300 pounds. Because of the Michigan Bariatric Institute, I've lost the weight. I now have the tools to keep it off. I'm a better mom, I am a better wife, and I'm just a better Kelly Brighton, I think.
Begin your journey. Try a free monthly educational seminar at St. Joe's Livingston. Visit stjoeshealth.org/MBI to learn more.
You're listening to The Drift on Wham Talk 1600. Join in the conversation at 734-822-1600. Now, back to your host, Gary Wellings.
And welcome back. Thank you for tuning in to Catch Our Drift. Joining me in studio, Ed Bonderenka. Ipsy Ed.
Howdy.
Glad to have you along today.
Nice to
and
be here.
let's take care of a little business real quick here. It's Saturday night, and if you want to see a comedy show, get up to Burroughs Roadhouse, 5311 Brighton Road, 810-227.